Hello and welcome back to the Kilted Jack. I'm back after a little bit of an absence. Obviously, I've not been active. However, that is for good reason. I have been down in Swansea. I've been down in Middlesbrough. I've been travelling. I've been watching the Swans. Um, and now here I am. I'm going to give my reaction on the first three games of the season: Middlesbrough away, Crawley at home, and Sheffield United at home. And I'm going to give my opinions on how the start of the seasons went. Um, and yeah, first of all, starting with Middlesbrough away, I think it was half and half kind of performance. I think the first half we were actually quite good. Second half, not so great. Obviously, 1-0 defeat. Maybe a bit harsh. I don't know. Um, Disappointed to lose that game. Thought that's a game that we could and maybe should be winning. Um, you know, to lose the first game, it's a difficult one to travel all the way up to Middlesbrough. First game of the season, it's a hard ask to go and come away with 3 points. Very harsh not to at least get a point. But we are where we are. You know, we've we've done more business now. And there's still a long way to go in the transfer window. We're not done yet. There's still a lot of work to be done. Um, I'm fully behind Alan Sheehan though. I think it was just a bit of we lacked that bit of squad depth, and there's a couple of things that could have changed. Obviously, we had Jay Fulton starting in the midfield, which is speaks for itself. Liam Cullen up top, which still needs to be sorted out. We still don't have a striker in the door, but fingers crossed that'll be done soon because I genuinely believe that we will be a very very strong side once we have a striker in the door. Um, and I think that's kind of what was missing at Middlesbrough away. But yeah, it's a game of two halves. Unfortunate to not at least come away with a point, but it's a hard place to go, especially first game of the season having to travel all the way up there. But yeah, Middlesbrough away, 1-0 defeat, probably unlucky. On to Crawley on Tuesday. Crawley at home on Tuesday night in the Carabao Cup. This was a very positive performance. Not the most exciting game of football. Obviously, hosting the team bottom of League Two at home at the Swansea.com Stadium in the first round of the Carabao Cup. It's never the most exciting game. Obviously, only one stand open. Bit boring, but we did what we needed to do. We got the job done. Ronaldo scored very early on, and the Ethan Galbraith, I think, scored the second. No, Ethan Galbraith scored the third. Bobby Wales scored the second after coming off the bench. Bobby Wales goal and assist. Ethan Galbraith absolutely ran it. What an absolute player he is and has been for us. Middlesbrough, he was decent. Crawley, very, very good. And also Sheffield United at home, he was very, very good as well. But we'll get on to that a little bit later on. Bobby Wills coming off the bench, getting a goal and an assist. I don't know how he isn't starting because you've got Cullen up top, who, I love Liam Cullen. He's been a great servant for Swans, and he is a talented footballer. But leading the line, he isn't the same player as he is when he plays a bit further back, and when he plays as like a 10 or an attacking midfielder. I think he's much better in that role as he is as a striker. I think the team is much better when Cullen isn't in that striker position. So, um, yeah, we do need a striker. Um, but Bobby Wales came off the bench, goal, assist, Galbraith, absolutely amazing. Anusa come on, I thought he done really well. Um, you know, Not much else to talk about. Burgess was solid. Um, you know, Cameron Congreve came off the bench. Thought he'd done okay. Thought he'd done well. Obviously, Crawley not the greatest side in the world. No disrespect to Crawley or their fans, but they're not. Obviously, I expected to win. We did win. So yeah, job done. We move on to the next round where we've got Plymouth Argyle again at Swansea.com Stadium. So we'll see what happens with that one. Obviously another good opportunity to get minutes and legs and hopefully get through to the third round of the cup. Again, not the most exciting draw, but you know we can only play the games that we're drawn, and we can only go out and do our best to win those games and progress. Which, fingers crossed, we will do. We'll get through to the third round of the Carabao Cup, maybe go on a little run. Obviously I don't want to jinx anything, or you know, I don't want to, you know, touch wood. I don't want to curse us or anything like that. So yeah, no, we can only go out and get the job done against Plymouth, but it was a comfortable enough performance against Crawley. Not the most exciting game, but you don't expect it to be when you're playing Crawley at home in the first round of the Carabao Cup. But yeah, not much to take away from it really. Alan Sheehan's first win of the new season, you know, got the ball rolling, so that's all you can ask for. Pick up a little bit of momentum from it and keep the ball rolling. Build on it, improve, keep working, and you know, bring in more players, and we'll only just get better. Because it was a decent performance against Crawley, who maybe you look at them as should be walkovers, but no, we've got to have as much respect for them as we do every other side, and we've got the job done, so we can now look forward to the next round of the cup. And then the next and the last game that we had was Sheffield United at home, which was a 1-0 win, where the Swans absolutely played Sheffield United off the park. The most one-sided 1-0 win I think I have ever seen. Sheffield United look an absolute shadow of what they were last season, and I don't know where it's went wrong. Whether it's Chris Wilder's gone, or I don't know. I don't know what the problem is at Sheffield United, but for a club of their stature and for a club of their reputation, especially in the last few years, it's got to change for them. But as a Swans fan, we couldn't care. We've gone out there and we've got 3 points at home against a team who I think will come good eventually this season and be a very hard team to beat. So I'm glad we got them when we did. I'm glad we've got the 3 points, because that's one less thing to worry about further on down the season. It's a very good win though. Very good performance from us, and yeah, it was just absolutely fantastic. Ronaldo with another goal, his 8th Swansea City goal, which is absolutely mental when you think of it. 2 of them have come in the last 2 games. 2 of them came at Sunderland, and a couple dotted around everywhere else. He's been on some good form this season, actually, Ronaldo. I've got to give credit where it's due to Ronaldo. He's upped his game so far. Long may it continue, because you know the expectation when Ronaldo signed was quite high. Obviously, Brazilian, the first Brazilian to play for Swans, etc., etc. The expectation was high, and he's performing this season. I'm hoping he can keep it going. I'm hoping that he can really make his mark on the team and contribute. And so far he has been doing that. Chipped in a couple of goals, and he looks good. But yeah, long may it continue for him. But yeah, it was a good goal. Good win, great win. Another clean sheet for Vigouroux. I think that's 5 in the last 10 championship games, clean sheets for Vig now. And regardless of Sheffield United not having a shot on target and whatever, he did the commanded area very well. Done it, you know, he's a great keeper, really good goalkeeper. I think the back line was solid. Cam Burgess was absolutely amazing again. He was, you know, when I looked at Middlesbrough, I didn't think he was the best, and I think it was a bit of a rocky start, but he's against Crawley and Sheffield United, he's definitely stepped up his game, and you know, he looks like a really solid defender, great in there, really strong, and I think he's been an absolute fantastic signing so far. Long may it continue, and you know, what a player we've got on our hands. A little bit shaky when he passes the ball, I feel, but as an out-and-out defender, he's absolutely fantastic and one of the best we've had at the club. He's great player. Galbraith, as I said earlier on, absolutely fantastic again. What a player he looks to be. I thought Milker Whittle was good as well. Came off the bench, and I thought he'd done well. Also the debut of Malick Yalcouye, whatever. the debut of Malick Yalcouye, who I thought had a very, very solid game as well, making runs out wide and done well, won the ball back a couple of times. He had a solid debut, very, very solid debut. He's also another player with high expectations at the Swans this season, obviously tipped to be Carlos Baleba replacement at Brighton. I've seen a couple of comments on that from Brighton fans. Expect a lot out of him, and so do we, so should we. Playing in the Champions League last season, winning Player of the Match awards in the Champions League last season, playing against some of the best in Europe, and now he's playing in SA1. So enjoy him while we've got him, and I think he'll only improve. He's only a teenager. I think he'll get better and better, but I think he'll be a really, really good player for us. And we've got to enjoy him while we can, because we won't have him for very long. He's only here for a year's time. Another player who I thought was very good against Sheffield United is Zidane Nusa, who I was a bit wary of after his first couple of games, but I think he was very good against Sheffield United. I think if he can only get better, if he can only get fitter, I think he'll be a good signing for us as well. The price tag was big, £5 million, so I'm hoping that he can show why we paid that much for him and why he was worth that much, which I believe he did against Sheffield United. He can only get better, so here's hoping that continues for the long run, and let's hope everybody continues to improve. And I think we will. I think we'll only get better. We're only 3 games into the season. We will only get better. And I'm very optimistic about us this season. I think we look very good. I think the only thing that we're missing out on is a striker, a number 9 that's going to score us a lot of goals. But apart from that, I think we look very, very good. Obviously, we've also signed Stamenic, who was announced earlier on today. Marko Stamenic from Nottingham Forest, who's played for Red Star Belgrade and Olympiacos, I think he played for as well. He seems to be a decent player. Obviously not got a lot of minutes under his belt at Nottingham Forest. But the midfield depth that we've got now is absolutely ridiculous. When you look at our midfield, you've got Marko Stamenic, Malick Yalcouye, Goncalo Franco, Jay Fulton, Ollie Cooper, Ethan Galbraith. You've also got Liam Cullen as well, who can play at 10, and then you've got Cottrell as well. There's the midfield is absolutely stacked. Probably the best midfield depth in the Championship. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited about it. After losing Matt Grimes in January, we were a bit questionable. Where does the midfield go from here? Losing a big player, losing our captain, someone who's been in the team for 10. But honestly, I'm glad it's happened, because we have now transformed the midfield into potentially a midfield that can take the next step forward, get us into the playoffs, and hopefully in the future get us back into the Premier League. And I think that's what we're building. So I'm really excited to have Stamenic on board. I think he's adding a lot of quality into a midfield that already has a lot of quality. I'm really, really excited to see this midfield in the full swing of things when everybody's at 100%. The one thing I think we're missing is a striker, which I think is next on the list for Richard Montague, and let's get it done. I have every single faith in Monte, in the recruitment team, that they're going to go out and get us a striker that can score goals for us. That's the last thing we need. But the start of the season been very, very positive. I'm very happy with how it's gone. Obviously a bit disappointed not to get a result at Borough. However, that's the only thing that I've got to say that's negative about this season so far. I think we'll only get better. It's been a great start. Let's keep the momentum going. Let's just improve. Let's get better. And I'm excited to see where we go from here. But I've got all the trust in the world that Alan Sheehan will deliver. I've got all the trust in the world that the recruitment staff will deliver. And let's see what happens in the next couple of days with recruitment, and let's get ready for Watford at home. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And I think that's all I need to cover today. So again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.